What I'd like to do is share with you my spiritual journey because it has a lot to do with the building of our Lead Like Jesus ministry. I grew up going to Sunday school and all those kinds of things, but never had much impact on me. And so I drifted away from the Lord. And then I met Margie my senior year, and we ended up getting married a year later. And so I never really thought much more about the Lord until 1982 when the 1 Minute Manager came out. And that was so ridiculously successful, I was having trouble taking credit for it. And my good friend Phil Hodges, who started Lead Like Jesus with me, came down and said, "Ken, let's walk along the beach. I want to talk to you." And so Hodge said to me, "Ken, why do you think this book is so successful?" I mean, it was on the bestseller list and it was selling tons of books. And I don't know why I said it, but I said, "Phil, I think somehow God must be involved." I'm driving up from downtown San Diego and I'm thinking so hard I'm getting a headache. And all of a sudden, I have this blinding flash of the obvious. And so I said, "Lord, I can't bow my head completely," he said, "because I'm driving, but I finally get it." And when I was really signed up, I decided I'm a behavioral scientist. I wanted to find out what the man did. So I was looking for the red print, and I went to the New Testament, and Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, and Acts. I want to know what the man did. And as I'm reading this, I'm saying, wow, everything I've ever taught about leadership, Jesus did with these 12 incompetent guys he hired, these disciples and all. And I said, he's really the greatest leadership role model of all time. And so this was the beginning of us starting our ministry of Lead Like Jesus.
I met Ken Blanchard in December 2001. At the time, I was serving as president of the National Science Center, and that was a partnership between the United States Army and a private foundation to create educational programs for children to learn math and science. I'd been there 11 years and I loved what I was doing. But Ken had an idea that he and Phil Hodges had brought to life. The idea that we could lead like Jesus, to do what Jesus did with the disciples, that we could take people from where they are to where God would have them go. What an idea that was. I immediately knew that this was a God-divine moment and a God call on my life. And so I said yes.
And the minute I opened my life to thinking about God, he started sending all kinds of people into my life.
I think partly Jesus is the greatest leadership role model of all time because he had the greatest vision of anybody who ever lived. And just as a matter of historical truth, it captivated more imaginations and has inspired more devotion and has led more people to sacrifice more time, more effort, more energy, and even their lives than any other vision that has ever been promoted.
We teach leaders that leadership is not about power and control. Leadership is not an exclusive art. Leadership is about influence, and it's about loving people so much that we would truly invest in them. Our concept is pretty simple. Follow the leader. And our leader model is Jesus. We've been given authority and the empowerment of Jesus. We can help others lead like Jesus, build disciples, develop disciples, leaders who lead like Jesus. We invite you to be a part of it. Come join the movement. Let's lead like Jesus.